Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Die Hard with a Vengeance, starring Bruce Willis, Jeremy Irons, and Samuel L. Motherfucking Jackson, directed by John McTiernan. Now, welcome back to Die Hard, as I've ended the first two movies on Christmas, and where is this taking place in? Summertime, I'm guessing. Because I heard a song in the beginning and it said Summer in the City, so that's what made me think of it. So, let's see how this goes. Is this better than the second film, or is it as good as the first one? Let's get into it. John McClane is back in New York City and is divorced by his ex-wife Holly and is estranged by his kids and is in suspension until a mysterious German voice named Simon, played by Jeremy Irons, blows up a building, and he calls the NYPD led by Walter Cobb, and Walter gets John out of suspension and plays a game called Simon Says, or else he'll blow up another building. And it starts with Simon forcing John to walk on a street filled with African Americans as he wears a sign that says, "I hate African Americans." But the word is the N word. Please don't make me say it because I'm not a racist. Until he meets Zeus Carver, played by Samuel L. Motherfucking Jackson, who talks to him as some gang members come in and almost kills John's ass until Zeus pulls out a gun from the back of John. And this is so far entertaining me from start to finish, but not as much as the first movie, but better than the second movie in my opinion. John gets in a taxi cab with Zeus and gets introduced to each other, and Zeus says the funniest line ever, which is, "Don't fuck with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass," which cracks me the fuck up. And Sam Jackson always cracks me up if in anything that he's in that's R-rated. And Zeus goes with John and to the police station while he has a cut on his arm, and John meets with Dr. Schiller, who tells him Simon wants him dead, as Simon calls John and brings along Zeus, and Zeus reluctantly goes with John to play Simon Says, as he doesn't know what the fuck he's gotten himself into. And Simon says to get to a payphone by a park in 15 minutes, and this is a smart script with tight action and very funny lines, mostly from Sam motherfucking Jackson. John and Zeus get to the payphone by a park and force a white lady off the phone, and John says he needs Zeus more than Zeus needs John. And they solve a riddle, and Simon makes a bad practical joke and makes John and Zeus look like asses, which was amusing. And I really like John and Zeus's characters. And Simon is a great presence by Jeremy Irons. As he says, Simon says get across town, and as John goes through the park, and John gets to a train to get a bomb off the train, as Zeus answers a payphone in the subway, and this has fast-paced action from start to finish. John gets to the train as he splits with Zeus, while Zeus drives the rest of the way, and at one point picks up some asshole to take him to somewhere in Wall Street because he believes he's in a taxi cab, and starts driving the motherfucker to Wall Street, and eventually Zeus gets to the subway station and arrives there without John being there, while his security guard tries to stop Zeus from answering a phone. But Zeus answers it without John, as the security guard is scared for his fucking life, as Simon blows up the subway station while people run for their lives, and some of them are saved while others are dead. And this scene was ridiculous, but in a fun way. The FBI ask for John and Zeus and ask questions about Simon's German voice, and they ask about Hans Gruber, aka the Alan Rickman character from the first movie, as Simon is Hans's brother, and they bring up how John killed Hans at the Nakatomi building in the first movie. And Simon calls Cobb and John and Zeus with the FBI and tells them he puts 24 pounds of bombs at all the schools in New York, and Simon threatens each school to blow them up by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, unless John and Zeus go by foot to get to a payphone. And John and Zeus run to this payphone, and the plot is dumb for sure, but it's cheeseball filmmaking at its finest by director John McTiernan, as the authorities block school traffic until some trucks come in, and Simon shows up to the crime scene. And how stupid are these cops? Very stupid, but hell, I'm liking this better than the second movie. Simon takes over the crime scene and robs a bank vault filled with a shit ton of gold, and his associates kill the cops while John and Zeus run to the next payphone, and one of the associates of Simon, who happens to be a woman, kills a security guard multiple times until Simon says, "I think he's dead, my dear." And she has too much fun, and I'm having too much fun with this movie, as this movie is too much fun, and I like the way it's shot, and as the cinematography is better than the second movie, in my opinion. Now, is this an Oscar winner? Not by a long shot, but it is working as an entertaining action movie as far as I'm concerned. John and Zeus get to a payphone at a park and fill some water in one of the gallon jugs, as one of is 3 gallons and the other one is 5 gallons, and they need at least 4 gallons of water in order to deactivate the bomb at the park, as they yell at each other about being a racist motherfucker. And the bomb doesn't blow up their asses, and Simon calls to tell them about an envelope that contains a couple of tickets to the Yankee game for the day, as they stop a couple of kids and hijack their bicycles and stop at a bank while Zeus delivers a bomb to a couple of Simon's assistants. While he's led to believe they're cops, and John goes inside the bank and tags along with the security guard and goes on the 12th floor with him and a couple of others. And is this scene Captain America the Winter Soldier ripped off years later, as John shoots them at the motherfuckers and makes it out alive and finds Zeus in the subway station? And how the fuck is this on the 12th floor? Maybe it's underneath, as I've never lived in New York, so this scene made no sense, but I'm still having a good enough time with the movie. John and Zeus drive to a place where they learn the 21st president, who happens to be Chester Arthur, and they ask around about it, and they never get it, as Simon calls his dead security guards, but he doesn't know where John is, as he blocks John and Zeus by calling a radio station about a school bombing. And as John and Zeus go to a construction site to get a truck and takes off with one of the to get to a school, as John sends Zeus to Yankee Stadium, when they have less than 2 hours, as they split up, and finally they learn Chester Arthur was the 21st president, which took them long enough, as this took a bit too long for them to figure out, as this is tightly edited, but it took a long time to get to the 21st president of the United States of America. John takes off without the boss, as the construction site Jerry and contacts Simon, as Simon gets to the end of the tunnel and gets an idea to put John onto the rocks, as he reaches to the end of the tunnel and learns he's being drowned by water and drives backwards and gets briefly drained by Zeus, finding him flying from the water, and picks up John as he gets shot, which was pretty funny, while kids are standing in the auditorium at the schools to keep them safe, while a couple of them try to leave in the auditorium. And I'm like, do you want to get motherfucking killed? Because how lame it sounds, which is kind of a nitpick, as this movie has some problems, but I'm going with it. John and Zeus have found 10 quarters for the bridge, as Zeus wants to jump into a boat while John tells him to get down, and they get to the boat and climb down and get forced on the boat and landed on the boat as altered as at other presence, or alerted, other presence, and John gives Zeus a machine gun and looks around to shoot the bad guys, as John does the same thing, and Zeus points a gun at Simon and officially meets for the first time, as he takes the machine gun and shoots Zeus in the leg, and they knock John out, and the cops get all the kids out of the school left to right, while John stabs the kicker in the leg. Well, some kids are still inside, and that felt like a problem for damn sure, as this climax is so far going all over the place. A bomb is about to explode as one of the schools, and the bomb squad, Charlie, can't stop it, and they learn there was no bomb at a school, and John and Simon meet for the first time ever and calls Hans an asshole, and Simon's henchman picks up John, and the score was sometimes ridiculous, but like I said, I'm going with it. And Simon ties up John and Zeus to blow up the boat until eventually they escape. And do I care for the side characters? Absolutely fucking not. After John and Zeus escape, they get off the exploding boat and get in the water and get saved by the cops. And John says they lost, and John calls Holly after a heated argument from a year before, but he realizes something is about to happen before getting to Holly, as we move on to Simon celebrating their heist and drink champagne, as Simon gets interrupted to go to his female associate to have sexual intercourse until John interrupts with Zeus by coming in helicopter, and the cops stop the bad guys, and Zeus tells them motherfuckers to run, as Simon comes in with the chopper and shoots the helicopter down, and John shoots Simon from the ground to his helicopter and says, "Say hello to your brother for me," and blows him up and says, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." And I thought he said it before he killed the bad guy, and at this point he kills Simon. He said it after he kills Simon, as he calls Holly one more time, and I was satisfied with this climax, but was I satisfied with the movie? Let's talk about it. I'll give this movie a 7.1 out of 10. Not quite as good as the first movie, but better than the second movie, as this is more entertaining than the second one, but not as much as the first one, in my opinion, as it's fast-paced from start to finish, and the dialogue is cracking me the fuck up, like Samuel fucking Jackson saying, "Don't fuck with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass," as he always cracks me up in any movie that's R-rated, and this is a small, smart script, and with tight action and very funny lines, mostly from Sam motherfucking Jackson, and this has fast-paced action from start to finish. The movie is ridiculous in a fun way, as this plot is dumb for sure, as it's cheeseball filmmaking at its finest, by director John McTiernan, as this movie is too much fun, and I like the way it's shot, as the cinematography here is better than the second movie. Now, is this an Oscar winner? Not by a long shot, but it works as an entertaining action movie as far as I'm concerned. I had a good enough time with the movie throughout, while it took a while to learn some things, but this is tightly edited, and this is a recommendation for the movie because you'll have a fun time with it, as it was a pretty fun movie, funny movie, kind of, in a kick-ass way, but it has problems for damn sure, but I'm going along with it, and the climax goes all over the place, but at the end of it, I was satisfied with the movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with the movie I wasn't so satisfied with when I talk about it then. Live free or die hard, and until then, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!